Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video. What is a companion video? Well, I'm glad that you asked. See, every day on the John Campea Show from Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we save some time to take live questions from the audience. However, we don't always have time to get around to all the live questions that get sent in. I want to make sure those questions get answered in a video, so I gather up those unused questions you guys sent in via Super Chat, and I address them here on companion videos. So, without wasting any time, let's dive right into it and start getting caught up here today. And we're going to get things started off with I'm Upset, who writes, worst Peter Dinklage film, Underdog, Pixels, The Boss, Ice Age 4, Angry Birds, or Death at a Funeral 2010. I'm going to easily, well, first thing, I don't usually hold animated films against any actor that does voices in them. I mean, they show up for a day or two, do some voice work and leave. I don't really count animated films against them at all. So, with that said, I'm going to easily say Pixels. I thought Pixels was terrible. Just terrible. Now, Death at a Funeral, I almost said Four Weddings and a Funeral. Death at a Funeral is also not exactly an Academy Award-winning film, but I had some chuckles in that movie. I did. I don't think it was great. I don't even think it was good, but I had chuckles in that movie. Pixels was just painful to get through, man. So I'm going to say Pixels will be my pick for that one. All right. Murray Reich writes, I like your theory on why Captain Marvel opened big, but why didn't those paid by Disney give some of the dough to Alita's box office? They liked the movie more. Okay, so what Murray's talking about is I have a theory. So you know how there are a bunch of YouTube channels and sites that were really propagating this lie about and propagating this smear campaign against Brie Larson, saying Brie Larson hates white men. She never said she hated white men. Brie Larson doesn't want white journalists covering movies. Brie Larson never said. Anyway, they kept propagating this lie. And of course, I thought Captain Marvel was going to open between $90 and $100 million. It opens to $153 million. Okay. So I have a theory. And I expressed this on a show the other day. My theory is this, that first of all, the fake controversy actually helped the movie because it just got everybody talking. It increased awareness, blah, 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 and that boosted it. So you had all this fake controversy actually help the box office for Captain Marvel. Now, I think Disney knows that sometimes even controversy can be good. Not all the time, but sometimes that can be good. And I think Disney knew that this controversy would do nothing but boost awareness for the movie and increase the box office. So much so that I'm starting to think that these YouTube channels and websites that were promoting this lie, they knew it too, and Disney paid them to spread this fake outrage and to spread this fake controversy. That these sites and these YouTube channels that were actually just trying to create this smear campaign against Captain Marvel, I think there's a pretty darn good chance that they were actually being paid by Disney to do it. I think they're on the take. I think Disney paid them off. Disney knew we got to generate this controversy to get more people talking about it. And they hired these sites, and these sites said, okay, they took the money and they started running with it, right? So anyway, that's my theory, and I'm sticking by it. It's completely not true, but I'm sticking by that theory. These sites were being paid by Disney, which helped them get a $153 million opening weekend. It's the only explanation. Anyway, Rikudu Madara Uchiha writes, could the week 2 Captain Marvel drop be between 50 and 70? Oh, I expect it to be. It should be. I believe Infinity War's week 2 drop was around 60%. So, let me just double check that right now. Infinity War second weekend drop. Let me just double check here. Avengers Infinity War dropped 55.5%. So, yeah, here's the thing. Movies that particularly open really big, like Captain Marvel just did at 153 million, that means a lot of people went to go see it opening weekend. And so you can expect a north of 50% drop. I'm expecting the second week drop for for Captain Marvel is going to be around the 60% mark. That puts it like 4.5% off from where Avengers Infinity War drop-off was. I expect it to be between 55 and 60. Maybe 61, maybe 62. 70 would be high. 70 would be high. But, I mean, could it be that big? Oh, I 100% expect it. I 100% expect the drop to be between 50 and 70%. It just makes sense. I mean, that's when movies open really, really large. Look, it's not a rule. It doesn't happen all the time. But for the most part, when movies open this big, you're not going to see less than a 50% drop. Jurassic World did. Jurassic World had like a 49% drop. But I mean, like I said, Avengers Infinity War, 55.5% drop because it was a big opening. I expect Captain Marvel to have anywhere between a 55 and 60% drop. Maybe 61, 62. 70% would be a really big drop off. That would be a really big drop off. But 60, something like that, that's fully where I expect it to be. That's what I think it should be at. So let's keep our eyes open on that. Tony Lamar writes, Will Smith's Hitch remake trailer is awesome. That's funny. It did have a little bit of a Hitch. The new Aladdin trailer is what he's talking about. That new Aladdin trailer did have a little bit of a Hitch feel to it, didn't it? And some people like that, actually. All right. KW Garrett 83 writes, no Aquaman 2 trailer. No Aquaman trailer 2 trailer yet. Should we be worried? No, right now I think we're okay. I mean, obviously KW is joking about the fact that it's like every week I get some questions. John, we haven't seen a trailer for X movie yet when X movie doesn't open for 5 or 6 months. Should we be worried? It's like, it's a commercial. No, KW, I think we're okay right now. I think we're still okay, though we haven't seen an Aquaman 2 trailer yet. Very funny, by the way. All right. Santez Henderson writes, Aladdin trailer. Doesn't look awful. I've had a bad feeling about this movie ever since Guy Ritchie was attached. His style doesn't fit in my mind. Okay, look, I will admit, Santez, that Guy Ritchie doing Aladdin does not seem like a natural fit. I admit that. I, however, am a massive Guy Ritchie fan. I mean, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, which is one of my favorite movies. I love Snatch. I can watch that every day. I really like his Sherlock Holmes movies. I even liked his King Arthur movie, even though I know most people hated it. I'm a big fan of Guy Ritchie. But I will admit, Guy Ritchie and Aladdin, that doesn't seem like the most natural fit, but whatever. I did not like the new trailer. It is the best one they've put out yet. This new Aladdin trailer is clearly the best one they've put out. But it just feels thin and cheap, and it feels like a Hallmark Network movie, or a Lifetime Network movie. It just feels like a made-for-TV movie. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it, but it just did not work for me. I found it weak. Now, I will give Disney the benefit of the doubt. I do believe the movie will be good. I still have high hopes for the movie, but the trailers have done nothing to get me more excited for it than I already was. And that's the job of a trailer. Take wherever you are excitement-wise, no matter how big or how small, and increase your excitement. These trailers didn't do that for me. But I'm in the minority. A lot of people, including a lot of people who watched the show, a lot of people were chiming in today that they actually quite like the new Aladdin trailer. And that's great. That's great. I'm just saying it personally didn't work for me. But hey, let's see how the movie is, okay? That's the important thing. Let's see how the movie is. All right. Caledon Sound writes, I'm finally on board with Will Smith as the genie. Still unsure about general casting of the movie, but excitement level is up. I'll tell you what, Caledon, I've always been good with the casting. Now this, Mina Massoud, is that his name? The guy who's playing Aladdin? Never heard of him. Don't really know much about him. Naomi Scott, I like Naomi Scott. I like Naomi Scott a lot. And I thought she was a good casting. I mean, are there others they could have cast? Sure. But I was quite happy with the Naomi Scott casting. And I've always been happy with the Will Smith as Genie. It's a good fit, I think. This doesn't mean I like the trailer, but I have liked the casting. And you're not alone, Caledon. I think a lot of people today, that new trailer dropped today, got a lot of people on board with it. I'm not one of them, unfortunately, but it got a lot of people on board, and you clearly are one of them, so I'm glad you're excited, man. All right. The Dawn writes, Carol, how did you get your powers? It's nanotech. Yeah, that's a big pet peeve of mine in the MCU. Like, Tony Stark, I love Iron Man in the MCU. I do. I love Iron Man. I loved him in Infinity War. Can't wait to see him in Endgame. Okay, fine. But The thing that's bugged me about Iron Man is that you went from Iron Man 1, which they tried to at least make it feel, it's totally sci-fi, but they tried to at least make it feel like it was rooted in some sort of reality. That, Tony Stark, this engineer, was making this thing, and he constructed this suit, and even though it was total sci-fi fantasy, they made it at least feel a little bit as if it was grounded. They at least made it feel as if, oh, maybe this actually happened, that this guy built this battle suit. Whatever. As the MCU has progressed, his suit, it's not even technology. Now it's just magic. The Iron Man suit now is just magic. That's it all. And so when in Infinity War, when they go out into the street and he blasts the Black Order guy with his sonic rays, whatever, it's like, and Bruce's like, what's new? He goes, nanotech. Yeah, just don't ask any questions, anybody. Just accept it. Nanotech. Sure. Wait a minute. That doesn't explain. Nanotech. You mean magic. And nobody bats an eye or wonders, how does some dude who's got an electrical engineering degree make this suit that can do all this kind of stuff and defies all the rules of logic and thermodynamics and everything? Nanotech. Yeah, nanotech. But people want to have a problem with how Carol gets her powers, and come on, cut me a break. Anyway, Murray Reich writes, that Good Boys trailer looks damn hilarious. I'll tell you what, for those of you who don't know what Murray's talking about, this new trailer just came out for a movie called Good Boys. It's these three young kids. I'm guessing 12 years old? I don't know. I'm guessing 12. Anyway, these young kids, and Seth Rogen is the producer of the film, and it's an R-rated film. And I saw the trailer for it. And in the first 10, 15 seconds, I'm like, oh, haha, you have a 12-year-old saying fuck. Ooh, isn't that funny? Isn't that edgy? Give me a break, right? But as I continue to watch the trailer, it's like, oh, this is much more than just that. And it's funny. That Good Boys trailer is hilarious. Anal beads. It means nunchuck. Oh, my favorite line in the trailer as the kids are watching porn. Oh my God, how many husbands does she have? Oh my God, I wanted to die laughing. It's a funny trailer. And I was turned off at first. I was like, ooh, getting kids to say the F word. Ooh, aren't you clever? But then it turned out to be really damn funny. So I'm actually very curious to see this movie, Murray. All right. Jacob Ibarra writes, I see people complaining that Will Smith is just playing Will Smith for the genie role. So do I. But wasn't Robin... Yes, he was. But wasn't Robin Williams just playing Robin Williams? Thank you, Jacob. Yes. Yes. Oh, man, Will Smith is just playing Will Smith. What do you think the genie was in the original anime? It was just Robin Williams doing Robin Williams. But that was great. And the whole reason they went and got Will Smith is because Will Smith is a good fit for that. He can bring that same kind of chaos energy to the role without being Robin Williams, without doing a Robin Williams impersonation. Bring the same kind of chaos energy, but don't try to be Robin Williams and don't try to imitate Robin Williams. And I think he's going to do a good job of that. And that's why I thought Will Smith was a good choice. Because you bring in Will Smith because you want him to be a little bit of Will Smith if you're getting him to be Genie. You don't want him coming in and doing Shakespeare. You want him to bring his Will Smithisms with him. That's what you want. And you're right, man. All these people I'm saying, criticizing, and I don't even like the trailer, but all these people criticizing Will Smith, he's just playing Will Smith. Well, that's exactly what Robin Williams did. So that's an excellent point, Jacob. Thank you for bringing that up. All right. The Halo Brony writes, I like the Aladdin trailers. I'm excited to see it. And see, remember, that's why I said a little bit earlier, there's a number of people who watch my show that actually really like the trailer, and that's great. I am happy that you are happy. I honestly am. That's exciting to me that you guys are excited by this trailer. I wish I was one of you. I wish I could be excited for this trailer too, but I'm just not. I'm still pumped for the movie because I was pumped for the movie the day they announced it. But these trailers have done nothing for me to increase, but a number of you are, and that's great. So thanks for sharing that, Halo. All right. James Bonner writes, to all who wanted it to die, cinema score of A, Rotten Tomatoes critic rating of 80, and a 453, by the way, it's over 500 million now. And 453 million in box office so far. Yes, let's all weep for the epic failure that is Captain Marvel. Yep, I mean, I think we can move past this. I mean, I completely agree, James, but I think we can move past it now. There was a smear campaign, and it failed. Captain Marvel's a big hit. There, done. Now let's move on to something else. But you're right. We're going to do this story on the John Campea Show tomorrow, but I was just reading that's already crossed 500 million now. So it's already passed $500 million in the first couple of days. So yeah, clearly it's a big success. How high will it go? I still have my doubts that it'll get to $1 billion. That's a little bit of a reach, but I'm guessing 700 to 800 million. You know, maybe a little bit north of 800 million. I'm thinking that's, still massive blockbuster territory, but I don't know if it'll get to $1 billion, but it's an incredible hit already. Nathan Oswald writes, I want a Mission Impossible Fast and the Furious crossover. Oh, dude, can't say I join you on that one, Nathan. Cannot say that I agree with you on that one. Those are just two radically different kinds of franchises that I do not think would work well together at all. Because you'd either have to ask Mission Impossible to not be like Mission Impossible, or you'd have to ask Fast and Furious to be nothing like Fast and the Furious. That's the only way you can make that work. There are some franchises that you could mesh like that, where they could both maintain their basic identities, but these are such fundamentally different types of franchises, I don't think it would work at all. Bohemian Biscuit writes, Disney will finally merge with Fox on the 20th. Yeah, that was one of our stories this morning on the John Campea Show. They are now saying that they believe that March 20th, which is a little over a week away, will be the day that the deal between Disney and Fox is final, and it's done. At that point, because, we've been saying for over a year now, guys, this deal's not even done. This deal's not done. But, John, I heard but the deal's not done. March 20th, the deal gets done. We talked about that a little bit on the John Campea Show this morning. All right, Patrick Conway writes, Peter Serretta of Slash Film is reporting that Marvel What If series on Disney Plus is in development. That does sound awesome. Well, again, that is a topic that we covered on the John Campea Show this morning. We did discuss that. For those of you who don't know what that's about, so Marvel used to run these what if things, like, what if Conan the Barbarian was in modern day New York? What if Stan Lee was Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four? Just these kind of like what DC does with Elseworlds, Marvel had kind of what ifs. And Disney Plus, according to the story on Slash Film, is developing an animated, not live action, an animated what if series. So it won't be canon or anything like that. It'll just be like fun one-shot stories that kind of mission mashup things. What if Tony Stark never became Iron Man and he built his armor for Captain America instead, or something like that. Like, it's going to be these what if stories. It's a really cool idea, and it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of work that out. All right. El Guapo Castillo writes, the Aladdin trailer has me excited for the movie. I had a feeling Will Smith would not be blue the entire time. I got a whiff of Prince of Persia, but in a good way. Is there any good way for Prince of Persia? Which is a great video game series, by the way, but the movie I thought was terrible. But no, we've known for a long time that Will Smith wouldn't be blue the entire time. Remember, the very first image that came out on the Entertainment Weekly cover was Will Smith in his human genie outfits. He had the hair thing, the clothes, but he wasn't blue. So we kind of knew for a long time that we wouldn't see, Will Smith CGI genie the whole film. Like, we knew that a long time ago. It is nice, though, getting this trailer that shows us definitively that he will go back and forth between his true genie form and his disguise as a human form when he's in public with Aladdin. So it is kind of neat seeing them go back and forth about that, and I think it's going to help the movie feel a little bit more grounded. All right. Tennis Flato Mendoza writes, hey, that is Rob. That's right. Rob was on the show this morning, and that was indeed him. Javier Belmer writes, I like the Aladdin trailer, very Bollywood-esque. It did have a little bit of a Bollywood feel to it, didn't it? There were a couple of shots where it looked like there were going to be these dance numbers in the streets and stuff like that. It does have a bit of that. I'll give it that. Still, the trailer still didn't work for me, but it did have a bit of that. But again, it seems like everybody liked this trailer. I think I'm the only stick in the mud who didn't like the trailer. So I'm like, I've watched it 3 or 4 times. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again, but it didn't work for me. But a lot of you guys are loving it, and I'm glad that you're loving it. All right. Aramv writes, I always thought Heath Ledger was the first comic book related Oscar nomination, but wasn't Al Pacino nominated for his role in Dick Tracy in 1991? True, but I mean, Dick Tracy was really more of a comic strip adaptation than a comic book adaptation. Now, Dick Tracy is way before my time, but if I remember right, and I could be wrong, this is just off the top of my head. You guys can research this and find out if I'm right or wrong, but Dick Tracy was primarily like a comic strip in the papers, not a comic book like Superman or Wonder Woman or anything like that. And you are right, Al Pacino was indeed nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his role in Dick Tracy, but I don't know that counts as a comic book movie. I'm sure there's a little bit of semantics in there, and there's probably a debate to be had about whether or not we should count Dick Tracy as a comic book movie or not. I still lean towards no, but you might be able to make a compelling argument that it does. But yes, you're all right. Al Pacino was nominated in 91 for that. Or was it 90? Whatever. He was nominated for Dick Tracy. All right. Anmol Japai writes, better actor, Leonardo DiCaprio or Christian Bale? Oh man, that's a flip of the coin. They're both very different actors. I'll say this. If I was heading in to make I was a producer and I had a big dramatic movie I was doing and I had my choice. I found out Leo and Christian both want to be in my movie and they both want this one role. It really depends on the role. Because one role might be better for Leo, another kind of role might be better for Bale. All other things being equal, I guess I'd take DiCaprio. But it's a close call, man. Like, it's real close. But today, I'll say Leo. If you ask me 1 year from now, I may totally change that and say Christian Bale. But for now, I'll go DiCaprio. Let's see. James Wheeler writes, good morning, all. I'm a bit confused. I read an article in Deadline that says in order for Captain Marvel to break even, it needs to make $750 million. No, you did not read that in Deadline. For a movie to need to make $750 million to break even, that movie would have to be about, oh gosh, let's see. If 750, you minus, say 250, so now you're at 500. So you figure about $100 million marketing campaign. So you would need, so 100 million plus 4, 500's that in line. All right. So for you to need to make 750 million just to break even, they would have had a $400 million production budget on Captain Marvel, roughly. The reports are it's about a $150 million production budget, not a $400 million production budget. So no, this movie's already profitable. It only needed to crawl over 400, maybe 410, 420, somewhere in that neighborhood, give or take. But no. No film ever made needed to make $750 million to break even. No film ever made needed that. So I think you might have misread the article, James, or they might have misprinted it, whatever, but they did not need to make $750 million to break even. No, sir. All right, let's move on here. Roman Bryant writes, do you think 94 is the greatest year of film? Shawshank, Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, Lion King? I don't know. It's hard to say because, look, a year in film has more than 10 movies. It has like hundreds of films. And you don't define the quality of a year just by its top 6 or 7 movies. You define the quality of a year by the whole body of the film that got produced that year. Now, that year was great. Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction are films that in a lot of other years would have won Best Picture, but they didn't. It went to Forrest Gump, which I still think it should have gone to Shawshank Redemption, which is one of the greatest motion pictures ever made. But I digress. It is certainly one of the great years. But it's just too tough to definitively call that just based on the top 5 or 6 movies of the year. Again, you need to sit down and go through the whole list and say, how was this year as a whole? And so I'm not ready to make that type of pronouncement. I'm not ready to make that, but it's great. It's truly a great year. Ryan Lohner writes, Fast 5, a textbook case of how a great beginning and ending can save a movie that seriously drags in between. Looking forward to 6 much more. I don't know, man. I love Fast 5. Now, I do think 6 is better. But I love Fast 5. I did not feel like it dragged in the middle at all. I enjoyed it. I thought it had a good pace. I thought it was fun from beginning to end. I really enjoy that movie. But hey, man, that's why all film's subjective. We all have different experiences with it. But I'm looking forward to seeing 6 because I think 6 might be my favorite. I think 6 might be my favorite Fast and Furious movie. But I think 5 might actually be Robert's favorite. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think it is. All right, Eric Huffman writes, have you heard any updates on the Black Adam movie? None. I mean, the other day, one of the producers dropped something about, we hope to go into production maybe later this year. But we hear that all the time. Sometimes it turns out, but like 7 out of 10 times it doesn't work out. So it's really not worth the paper it's printed on. But that's the latest update, was one of the producers at some red carpet said, we hope to be in production by the end of 2019. Okay, great. You had hoped to be in production by early 2017, a few years ago. And where are we now? So right now, unfortunately, no updates on the Black Adam movie. Nothing real or tangible at any rate. All right. Rodney Alexander writes, hey, John, Rob, and crew. Just got an email stating you can pre-order Captain Marvel at Best Buy. It's only March 12th. What in the world? I don't get it. But I understand pre-sales because pre-sales gets money locked in. It gets you revenue generated now. So I get why you do pre-sales, but I don't get doing pre-orders for movies when the movie's still in theater. Oh, heaven forbid. It's not even still in theater. It just opened. Really? I bet you're the type of store that puts up Christmas decorations at the beginning of September. Yeah, it just seems like getting ahead of yourself a little bit. I mean, I get it, I suppose, but I would never do that if I was running a store. That's just me. Pardon me. Stu Pizzato writes, just for support. Oh, thank you so much, Stu. Send his super chat to support the channel. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. I had a drop of water go down the wrong pipe. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, so again, thank you, Sue. I appreciate that, man. All right, Miko Suayan writes, hey, John, I just want to say hi for keeping me company while I draw. I do recognize the name. Being a comic book artist can be lonely. Rob, since you like Moon Knight, do you like my artwork with Charlie Houston? Thanks. All right, I'm going to have to take that, Miko, and I'm going to have to send that to Robert. And I'll get him to answer that specifically on the John Campea Show tomorrow. But for those of you who don't know, and forgive me, Miko, I'm not familiar with all your work by any stretch of the imagination, but Miko has done like so many covers of so many comic books. It's crazy. He's a fabulous artist. And I got to send this over to Rob. I think Rob's going to get a real kick out of this that you sent this in, Miko. So thank you so much, sir. And again, I will have Rob specifically address the whole Charlie Houston question. I'll be honest, I'm not even sure who Charlie Houston is. Rob is much more knowledgeable on that side than I am. But he's going to get a big kick out of that you sent that in. So thank you for that, Miko. I appreciate that. Miko Mason. I got Miko on the brain now. Christopher Mason writes, what are the chances Venom shows up in Morbius? Not bad. Not bad chances. I mean, I don't think super likely. I think they'll want to let Morbius just kind of have his own first movie, but a post-credit scene or something. I put it at a solid 20% chance. So not a horrible chance. Not bad. Not likely, but not bad. I'll go 20% on that. Preston Walden writes, where is Ashley? Better yet, why is Ashley? Ashley's actually in San Francisco right now. So she will be back on tomorrow's show. Ashley will be back on tomorrow's show, but she's out doing some stuff in San Francisco, so that's why she hasn't been on the show the last couple of days. All right. Ryan Lohner writes, how do we get people on board with the new Autobot leader? I know. Let's have Optimus die, saving him from his own idiocy. Man, I have had a hate on, both a love-hate, but in recent years, a lot of hate relationship with that original Transformers animated movie. And it wasn't just because they killed Optimus Prime. That's cool. You wanted to kill Prime to do something really dramatic. Okay, fine. That can work. Hasbro And my household, half of my household's income is contributed by Hasbro. So let me be, completely upfront about that. Full disclosure. My wife works for Hasbro. We get big paychecks from Hasbro. So thank you, Hasbro. But that Transformers movie was Hasbro going, hey, fans, you love all the toys? Well, we're killing them all. And we're going to give you all these new toys. If you want to still like Transformers, you got to buy all the new toys, kids. That's what that movie was to us. That movie was Hasbro giving the big double F'ers to all the fans and saying, oh, you've been loyal customers of ours and buying our toys and cherishing our characters. Thank you so much. We're going to kill them all in 5 minutes. We're not even going to give any of them big heroic deaths other than Optimus. We're just going to give them 1 second of screen time to see them get shot through the chest and die. That's it. This toy you collected and bought and been playing with for 4 or 5 years, kids? Yeah, forget it. They're dead. They're dead. I hated that so much. And to add insult on top of injury, yeah, they had Optimus being replaced because Optimus had to die at the hands of saving the skid from his own idiocy. Hot Rod, who became, why am I Rodimus? Rodimus Prime. Hot Rod became Rodimus Prime anyway. Totally dumb. I always get angry. I'm just going to have to stop talking about this, Ryan, because I just get angry whenever I think about that movie. Anyway, Ryan Lohner follows up with, I just want to ask the crew, man to man, what did you think was going to happen here? That's ringing a lot of bells, but I can't remember off the top of my head, man. I cannot remember the quote off the top of my head. Zachary Buckler writes, with the merger, do you think Disney will have a similar vault for some classic Fox movies? Well, remember, Zachary, we just talked about this on the John Campea Show the other day. It looks like Disney's getting rid of the vault. They're putting all their classic movies, including the vault movies, on Disney Plus streaming. So it looks like the vault is being retired. Remember, right now, Disney Plus, the streaming service, is Disney's number one priority. It is their number one priority. And so I don't think they're going to vault any of the classic Fox films. I think you're going to see them going up on Disney Plus. That's where you're going to find them. And it's not a bad idea. It's actually a pretty good idea on their part to do it that way. All right. PJ Barnes writes, what was he writing? PJ Barnes writes, you guys are crazy. This trailer rocked. Again, PJ, I get it. Everybody loved this trailer. Everybody loved this trailer. And I'm glad you did. And I'm glad there's more excitement for this Aladdin movie. I can't wait to see Aladdin. I'm excited to watch it. I'm just saying these trailers have done nothing to get me more excited. And on that level, they failed, at least for me. Clearly, this new one has worked for a lot of you guys, and that's awesome. And I wish it worked for me, but just got to call it as I see it, man. It just didn't work for me. All right. Akuma Magneto writes, my first time sending in one of these. Well, thank you so much, Akuma. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate everything that you do, and I've been watching since the video posted a long time ago about commercials before movies. Oh, your rant was awesome. Dude, that's going way back. That rant of mine on commercials before movies, not trailers before movies, commercials before movies. I put that up. I still remember clearly. I was doing the movie blog. I was at the Campea Ranch, and I think I was visiting my family. I was in the basement of my family's ranch. And I pulled out a camera. I just come back from a movie where they showed like tons of commercials before the movie. After the official start time. Like, that's fine. If the movie says it starts at 7, and I get there at 6:45 and you're showing commercials from 6:45 to 7, that's cool, because that's on me. You said 7 o'clock start time. You can put whatever commercials up you want before that. But when it hits 7 o'clock, and I have paid to be in this seat at 7 o'clock, you damn well better not be showing me commercials. I paid to be here. And I came back from this experience at the theater where there were so many commercials after the advertised start time of the movie that I was just hot. I was hot. And I got back to my parents' place and I grabbed a camera and I just kind of went off for a while. And yeah, it's funny how many people, I still get people talking to me about that particular video, but man, that's going back a ways, Akuma. So thank you so much, first of all, for sending in a super chat, but also thank you so much for watching my stuff this from this many years. I appreciate that, and thanks for the little bit of nostalgia there. Making me remember that videos. Thanks so much. All right, Stephen Stanley writes, saw The Fighter for the first time yesterday. Amazing. With that's Christian Bale, Mark Wahlberg, Amy Adams. Excellent movie. Excellent movie. Christian Bale shouldn't have won Best Supporting Actor that year for that. He was great, but he was a lead actor. They just didn't put him in the lead actor category because they knew he couldn't beat Colin Firth that year from King's Speech. So they put him in there, but whatever. I really like The Fighter. The Fighter's such a good movie, covering the story of Mickey Ward and all that kind of stuff. Beautifully done, great character development, a lot of heart, fun and exciting, and I agree, man. That's a really good movie. I'm glad you had a chance to catch up with it. All right. Thanasi Spiliotis writes, I'm terrible with names. Which one would you have worked? Let's say, which one would have worked? Brad Pitt as the Punisher or Chris Hemsworth as Green Arrow? Either would have worked. You know me, guys. I don't care. I like the questions of X actor in X role. I don't care as long as it's talented actors. Brad Pitt is a talented actor. He would have worked as Punisher. Chris Hemsworth is a talented actor. He would work as Green Arrow. So the answer is both. Both could have worked because they're both really talented actors, and that's the main thing. All right. Let's see here. Mark Fairley writes, love seeing Monica Rambeau, a.k.a. Captain Marvel 2. Yeah, I really liked her character in that. And I honestly thought going into the movie that the Monica Rambeau character was going to be a little bit of a throwaway. For those of you who don't know, that's the woman who's like Carol Danvers' best friend in the movie. Anyway, I honestly thought that she was just going to be a throwaway character. She brought a new dimension to the film. She ultimately really was Carol Danvers' anchor to her reality, to her humanity, I mean. Monica was Carol's anchor to her humanity. And the character brought that out, and now I'm really hoping they find a way to use her again in the future. I know it's 20 plus years later, so she's going to be an older character, but I really hope they find a way to use her again because I like the dynamic between Carol and Monica very much, and their daughter, Monica's daughter, I should say. I like that a lot too. Luke Blackwell writes, people are saying Thanos no longer has the gauntlet because it got destroyed after the snap, but he snapped again before he told Thor to go for his head. Well, it was the snap that caused the damage, right? Exerting that type of a thing, killing half the life in the universe, that damaged Thanos. It damaged the gauntlet. You saw the gauntlet was all mangled and everything after it. The Russo brothers, the directors of the film, said in the director's commentary that the snap permanently damaged, that's the word they use, permanently damaged Thanos and permanently damaged the gauntlet. Now, it was clearly still at least basically functioning because after the snap, he used the space stone to teleport out. But that could be one of those situations where in a movie, a car gets into a car crash and then they're able to drive another mile, but then the car dies, you know, like maybe that was it. Maybe like, okay, the gauntlet's pretty much done, but I can just use it one more time to get out of here. Something like that, maybe. So there's still a lot of room for interpretation here, Luke. By what did the Russo brothers mean by permanently damaged? Is it just now that it's only at 10% of its full potential? Does it mean it's just unusable at all? Does it mean that it's only half usable now? Does it mean it's only 10% less usable? I mean, I don't know. It's up for interpretation. We'll get a lot of those answers in Endgame here pretty soon. But yeah, that's where people get that, is that because the Russo brother, well, you saw it was all mangled, and the Russo brother said it's permanently damaged. But what does damaged mean? Unusable? Still a little usable? I mean, what does it mean? We'll find that out in Endgame. All right. Charlie Rogers writes, just out of curiosity, has there been any casting in Endgame that doesn't include the character they're playing? Maybe the new villain? Thanks. Not officially, and you can't use IMDb. See, here's the thing. I keep trying to tell people, IMDb before a movie comes out is not all that reliable. It's pretty reliable, but really not all that reliable. IMDb for movies that have already come out rock solid, pretty much 100%. But a lot of times they will have things that aren't true about an upcoming movie because people can just drop things in there. So I don't recall seeing anything that would raise any suspicions, but, we're getting closer. I mean, Rob has a theory that they've got a big major character like Kang the Conqueror. And it's cast, well, I mean, it has to be cast because the movie's done. They've finished the movie. And they've just been able to keep it all a complete secret, which would be one of the best secret-keeping jobs in history because they've done a pretty good job keeping that secret, if that's the case. But we'll find out soon. We'll find out soon. All right. Ben Rayner writes, over under 45%, they have a double feature with Infinity War and Endgame. Oh, I gotta believe they're going to do that. You're just leaving money on the table if you don't. I have to believe that opening night, they're going to have across the country, there will be select theaters where you can do a double feature. Watch Infinity War at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and then be the first to see Avengers Endgame right after it. That maybe starts airing 30 minutes before it airs anywhere else across the country. I got to believe they're going to do that. It seems the smart play, so I'm going to take over 45% on that. Meat Puppet 007 writes, do you think there's any chance Adam Warlock is going to show up in Endgame? I don't think so. I mean, how much more can you cram into this movie? How much more can you just stuff like a turkey into this movie? It doesn't seem like it's a logical thing, so I'm going to say no. But look, when you say, is there any chance? Well, any chance anything can happen. Hitler could be in the movie. You asking, is there any chance? Well, there's a chance that Hitler's the bad guy in Endgame. It's completely unlikely, but is there any chance? Sure. Is there any chance Adam Warlock shows up in this movie? Sure. Is there any real chance? Like on a practical level, I'll say no. I'm really not expecting Adam Warlock at all. So I'm going to guess no, but anything is possible, I suppose. Rufino Salazar Jr. writes, have you seen Instant Family? My wife and I enjoyed it. Yeah, I was a little bit late to Instant Family, the Mark Wahlberg film. It is cute. It's got heart. It's got giggles. Not one of my favorite films of the year or anything like that, but it wasn't the disposable throwaway comedy that it kind of looked like. It had more heart to it than you'd think, and it was a nice little movie, actually. Yeah, it was a nice little film. All right, Cap Wolfster writes, Will Smith for reincarnated Heimdall in Thor 4? Why wouldn't you just bring back Idris Elba at that point? I mean, just bring back Idris Elba. If you're going to reincarnate Heimdall, just bring back Elba. That seems to be the most logical thing at any rate. Okay, Mandy B. Love, and I believe this is the final question of the day. Mandy B. Love writes, Avengers Endgame end credit scene might feature the Skrulls taking the original Avengers' place. Well, unfortunately, Mandy, I can't address that because me answering that would get into spoiler territory for Captain Marvel. All I'm going to say is no, but I can't go into why I'm saying no because it would spoil a bunch of stuff in Captain Marvel for people. So I do apologize, but I can't answer that question. It would be unfair to everybody else watching right now. But thank you for sending it in nonetheless. All right, guys, that will do it for this installment of the companion videos. We are now all caught up on all the questions that came in earlier today. What is today? Tuesday, March the 12th. And these were all questions that got sent in on the John Campea Show today that we didn't have time to get around to, but now we are all caught up. And don't forget, guys, we will be back again tomorrow with a new episode of the John Campea Show. Make sure you join me and Robert then. That'll do it for me for now, guys. My name's John Campea, and until our next video, bye-bye.